Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for.
The once promising political career of Mayor Tiffany Henyard took a drastic and devastating turn. Initially celebrated as the first Black female mayor of Dalton, Illinois, her historic election was hailed as a breakthrough moment, symbolizing progress and the dismantling of racial barriers in local politics. Henyard was seen as a beacon of hope for Dalton, a community struggling with economic challenges and a lack of political representation. However, what should have been a new era of positive change quickly unraveled as her administration became mired in scandal, financial mismanagement, and allegations of corruption. Henyard soon found herself at the center of a major controversy involving the embezzlement of taxpayer funds and the misuse of public resources for personal indulgences. Among the most shocking accusations was a $43,000 Amazon shopping spree in a single day, a revelation that left residents stunned and disillusioned. This was not an isolated incident, but part of a troubling pattern of extravagant personal spending, including first-class flights, five-star hotel stays, and luxury purchases. One particularly egregious expense was a $110,000 stay at the prestigious Four Seasons Hotel in Atlanta, a sum that many in the struggling community found impossible to reconcile with their town's financial hardships. These revelations cast a dark shadow over Henyard's leadership, exposing the stark contrast between her lavish lifestyle and Dalton's worsening economic struggles. While the mayor indulged in luxury, the town was sinking deeper into debt, with its financial stability deteriorating under her administration. Projects meant to revitalize the community stalled or were abandoned, and promises to improve infrastructure, services, and public programs went unfulfilled. Instead of progress, Dalton saw its fiscal health plummet, with Henyard's mismanagement compounding existing financial woes. The trust residents had placed in her quickly eroded as it became clear that her actions represented not only a betrayal of public trust, but also a blatant disregard for accountability and service. Local government officials, once aligned with Henyard's vision, scrambled to repair the damage caused by her alleged financial misconduct, but the harm had already been done. The town, once hopeful for change, now faced an uncertain future as disillusionment set in. The allegations against Henyard were particularly devastating because they underscored the vast disparity between her extravagant expenditures and the harsh realities faced by Dalton's residents. While she reportedly enjoyed luxury accommodations and lavish purchases, the town's infrastructure remained in disrepair. Public services were underfunded, and critical projects stagnated. The financial instability she created left Dalton in a precarious position, burdened with mounting debt and insufficient resources to address pressing needs. The sense of betrayal deepened as residents realized that Henyard had seemingly prioritized personal gain over public service. The damage from her actions extended beyond financial losses, fracturing the community and creating a deep divide between the people and their elected officials. What was once seen as a promising era of change had instead left Dalton in a state of disillusionment and uncertainty. As investigations into her financial activities intensified, calls for accountability grew louder. Citizens demanded transparency and answers about how public funds had been diverted for private benefit instead of being used to improve the town. Henyard's political future now hung in the balance, with the looming prospect of legal consequences. Her fall from grace had been swift and dramatic, leaving her reputation in tatters. Once celebrated as a trailblazer and symbol of hope, she was now a cautionary tale of how unchecked power can lead to corruption and abuse. Henyard's downfall not only tarnished the office of mayor, but also dealt a serious blow to the morale of the town. Residents struggled to cope with the fallout of her actions, leaving Dalton a fractured community, bitterly divided by the events of the past few years. The scars left by her administration would take years to heal, and the town's reputation had been deeply damaged. As legal battles unfolded, Dalton remained in limbo, uncertain about its future. The town stood at a critical crossroads. Henyard, who had once symbolized hope, change, and progress, now served as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked leadership and the betrayal of public trust. Her dramatic fall from power became a harsh lesson in the destructive consequences of corruption and the lack of oversight in public office. Despite overwhelming evidence of financial mismanagement, such as her lavish personal spending, including a $43,000 Amazon shopping spree and a $110,000 stay at the Four Seasons Hotel, Mayor Tiffany Henyard remained defiant. She refused to cooperate with efforts to resolve Dalton's financial crisis, vetoing measures to impose stricter financial controls and blocking the appointment of an independent auditor. This led to a state of gridlock within the town's administration, further fueling public outrage. Residents grew increasingly frustrated as the crisis deepened. Town hall meetings became heated, protests erupted in the streets, and social media campaigns called for her resignation. Rather than acknowledging her role in the town's financial collapse, Henyard portrayed herself as a misunderstood leader, accusing her critics of unfairly targeting her. At one town meeting, she stunned the audience by arriving with a golden microphone, an ostentatious gesture that highlighted her apparent disconnect from the gravity of the situation. In another incident, a DJ allegedly played Rihanna's Better, Have My Money in what many saw as a mocking response to the financial turmoil. These actions only deepened the divide between Henyard and the community, further alienating residents who demanded accountability. Dalton, once full of hope for a brighter future, now faced an uncertain path forward. As legal investigations intensified and calls for reform grew louder, Henyard's grip on power weakened. The fallout from her actions served as a stark warning to other public officials about the dangers of unchecked power and corruption. However, amid the turmoil, there was also a growing sense of hope. Many in Dalton saw this crisis as an opportunity to rebuild and move beyond the scandal. Residents longed for leadership based on integrity, accountability, and responsible governance. The lessons learned from this dark chapter could inspire much-needed reforms, restore public trust, and help the town recover. Yet Henyard's continued resistance to financial oversight and her bizarre antics only worsened the divide. With Dalton's future hanging in the balance, the town stood at a crossroads. If it could overcome the damage left in her wake, it had the chance to restore faith in its leadership and chart a new path forward, one built on transparency, ethical conduct, and fiscal responsibility. Meanwhile, serious allegations against Henyard continued to intensify, plunging Dalton deeper into political and financial turmoil. Even her former allies began distancing themselves as the full extent of the crisis unfolded. The once promising era of change had turned into a cautionary tale of the devastating consequences of failed leadership. Once vocal advocates of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership, Dalton's trustees have now publicly expressed regret for their early support, acknowledging it as a mistake in hindsight. What was initially rooted in hope for change is now seen as misplaced, leaving the town to grapple with the wreckage of Henyard's tenure. Hopes for progress in Dalton, Illinois, have soured as Henyard continues to evade mounting accusations against her. Her erratic behavior, including arriving at town meetings with a golden microphone and allowing a DJ to play Rihanna's Better Have My Money, has further alienated both the public and her once loyal supporters. These bizarre antics, combined with her ongoing denial of responsibility, have only deepened the community's frustration and shattered any remaining faith in her leadership. Adding to the town's growing concerns, Henyard has remained silent on critical issues, raising suspicions that she may be planning to flee before facing legal repercussions. With the FBI closely tracking her whereabouts, rumors have swirled that she is preparing to escape justice. This uncertainty has plunged Dalton into chaos, marked by financial instability, deteriorating public services, and a general sense of dysfunction. A town already struggling with mounting debt and failing infrastructure is now questioning whether Henyard has any intention or ability to lead effectively.